Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out. It looks like we have a great group, and we appreciate everybody coming out. And again, video of this meeting is streamed on YouTube and will be available on Facebook and the Village website. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask Clerk Saladino to call the roll.
Trustee Augustine.
Here.
Trustee Gale.
Here.
Trustee McGee. Here. Trustee O'Brien.
Here.
Trustee Peterson. Trustee Thompson.
Here.
President Kukler.
Here. And Trustee Peterson is unable to attend due to a family illness. We have a special guest here tonight, and that'd be Russell Davenport. But first, I believe the Davenport daughters are going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, or at least some of them. One's slow to get up now. She's going, all right.
Please stand.
Mic check.
Can you hear us?
Mic check.
Okay.
Mic check.
I
Okay.
pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, ladies. The Davenport daughters are here along with Deshawn, and it's because we did want to recognize Assistant Public Works Director Davenport. Russell served the village for 37 years. That's pretty awesome. He began his career with Public Works as a laborer, general utility worker on April 18th, 1988. He went on to grow his responsibilities as he progressed in his career with the village, which included the positions of crew leader, foreman, assisting, and acting director of Public Works. Throughout his career, Russell demonstrated a willingness to take on new responsibilities, learn new skills, share his positive attitude, and uphold his commitment to providing service to the community. On behalf of myself personally, I want to express our sincerest appreciation to Russell, to his family, for all the service and dedication you did in those 37 years. We wish you all the best in the future, and I know that our trustees have some comments also.
Russell, you've been great for the village. Thank you very much for everything you've done. My son Jack wanted me to extend to you the thanks. He worked for you 3 years ago. He wanted to make sure I told you that he wishes you luck in the future. Thanks for all you've done, and stay in touch.
Russell, yeah, thank you very much for your years and years of dedicated service. I won't tell you how old I was in 1988 when you started working, but appreciate all the years of great service to the community, and good luck in the next chapter of your life.
Russell, it's been a distinct pleasure getting to know you over my years in LaGrange. You're special to a lot of people, and you're very good at what you do. It's kind of deja vu because I feel like we kind of did something like this a few years ago when we celebrated one of your milestone anniversaries. And so I won't embarrass you again with any more Harpo outfit photos tonight, although I was tempted. Thank you, Russell, for giving us your time in blood, sweat, and tears, in know-how, and in good times and bad. I've seen you fixing water mains breaks in sub-zero weather multiple times. I've seen you driving by on plows in a snowstorm, waving friendly at 5 a.m. I've seen you patiently and lovingly work with a resident who's got an issue, and you treat everyone with respect. You have a very keen sense of customer service. You've exhibited pride, and you have always managed through thick and thin to wear a very brave face. This town is lucky to have your skills, your commitment, your personality, and we've had you many years longer than most people could ever have hoped for. I would have liked a few more, but I'm just grateful. Go and relax, and thank you for everything, and don't be a stranger.
So I guess what,
Russell, not just as a village employee, but as a neighbor. For over 30-something years, we've been neighbors. We've shared in block parties, community events, and just making our community a better place outside of you as a village employee. And as Beth said, many times we would see you out early mornings shoveling our driveway, our roadways and our alleys. And I want to say to your family, thank you guys for sharing your dad and your husband with us. I remember the days when Dejana's husband would be gone hours at a time at the day working for the village. I'd listen to all the residents as they talk about your customer service and your diligence to fixing problems for us. You have some big shoes that have to be filled, and we want to wish you Godspeed in your next endeavors in life, and know that you will not be forgotten.
Thank you.
so Russell, you probably don't even remember this, but the first time we met was back in 1991. I had a major water sewer issue right in my front yard, and it was plumbers working, the city working, and you came over, and I was panicked, and the plumbing bills running up into the tens of thousands of dollars, and you very calmly kept everything under control, and then the nicest guy working with the citizen. And I know that's why every citizen of LaGrange has enjoyed having you around. And then I got transferred away, and then we moved back, and then, of course, you and I became really close acquaintance back in 2020 and 21, and you helping me as a Dry LaGrange guy, but as a citizen and helping other citizens to identify where flooding was going on, get in the hospital to put up just that little berm in the parking lot that day that stopped the flooding coming across country. The contributions that you've made behind the scenes of this village have just been so numerous and so valuable, and I count you as a friend more than I did a co-worker or whatever, and I've really enjoyed our acquaintance and hope we continue to speak, and I wish you all the luck. You've got a wonderful family, and God bless you all, and enjoy your retirement.
Thank you. Russell, do you want to say a few words?
Well, I will say this. I enjoy myself, the 37 years that I worked for the village of LaGrange. It was a lot of stuff that I had done around LaGrange that I won't forget. I could just walk outside Village Hall and I can say I was part of this and part of that, all the things that we done in the Central Business District. So, but I really appreciate working with the board, working with the staff, and working with my staff back here. These guys, this Public Works Department and all the departments for the Village of LaGrange, they're just dedicated people. You got a whole bunch of dedicated people on that back wall back there. So I like to just take my hat off to them. These guys, I worked in the trenches with back here. It's a couple of them, but you know, they were real good and just dedicated. So I just want to let you guys know that I appreciate you guys. I appreciate, my son's not here right now. He's listening to me now. He can hear me. And my one daughter is not here. She's in Indiana, Krista and Anthony. So I just want to let these guys know that through it all the inconvenience that I caused you guys, no, for real. I'm going to be here for you guys now, okay? I'm going to be there for you guys. I just want to let you guys know that I appreciate you. I got two more things, and then we can move on. The first thing is I like to take a picture with Tim O'Malley, the new Public Works Director.
Tim O'Brien.
Tim O'Brien. That's okay. Tim O'Brien. Tim O'Brien. Can you take a picture?
You have to make sure you're talking to the microphone so your son hears you.
I want to do one thing real quick. My pastor showed up. He's usually busy, and he's happened to be here today. I want him to stand. Pastor Marvin E. Wiley from Rock of Ages Baptist Church. My mother's here, my brother's here, and my in-laws are here, and my sister's here. So I just thank all you guys, Vertus, Charles, Angie, Nikki, Buster, all you guys on the back wall. I love all you guys. So I got something that me and Jeff, we always go through this. He comes up to me, he blindsides me with this, and when he says it, it makes me feel a type of way. So I'm going to let Jeff talk on the mic, and then I'm going to shake you guys' hand. Come on up, Jeff.
All right, so apparently Russell enjoys this. Anytime I have to call upon Russell, I always want to give him the proper intro. So it's the man, the myth, the legend, the one, the only, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Mr. Russell Davenport.
Thanks. They want to give you a standing ovation. Thanks again, everybody, for coming out to support Russell. We do appreciate it.
So they want us to leave, guys.
You're welcome.
You guys enjoy your meeting. Thank you.
You are welcome to stay all night. But thank you for coming out. We do appreciate it.
Thank you, Russell.
He's ready to go. He's like, oh, good. It's not already good. Yeah, he's ready.
All right, and moving on. 2 weeks ago, I had the privilege of joining the American Legion for their Memorial Day celebrations. I'd like to thank the American Legion for hosting a meaningful Memorial Day ceremony. I was thrilled to be able to participate. The ceremony recognized the LaGrange area residents who gave their lives in service for our country. We're forever grateful for those who sacrificed for us. On a happier note, a week later, we had the pet parade and the carnival in LaGrange. I'd like to thank the organizers of the pet parade, the LaGrange Business Association, partnering organizations, village staff, over 100 volunteers that contributed to another successful weekend of events, which again began on Friday, May 30th, and went through Sunday. As always, the pet parade weekend carnival activities were a wonderful way to celebrate LaGrange. The carnival was a hit. It offered entertainment and a great way to get out and enjoy a family-friendly event and atmosphere. Thanks again for the LGBA and again the 100-plus volunteers for another successful year. I'd also like to wish a sincere thank you to the LaGrange Garden Club for helping to design and plant the beautiful plantings throughout our downtown. The plantings are a key way in creating a welcome and lively atmosphere we have in downtown. They add to our vibrancy, and it really does look wonderful. It helps our community shine, and thank you to all the members of our Public Works staff for all your work in watering and pruning and weeding and all the other things you do to, again, make the whole village look great. Lastly, on June 19th, there's going to be a Juneteenth celebration. It normally would be at the LaGrange Community Center, but that's under construction. So this year it's going to be at the Corral. It's from 11 to 1:30. It's hosted by or organized by Lace Up Athletics and the Lacey family, and we appreciate them organizing it. Everyone's invited, and it will be a fantastic event. So we hope to see everybody out there. With that, I'd ask if there's a village manager report.
There is. Thank you, President Kukler, and good evening, everyone. Just a couple of things to note for tonight. The village's water bill payment service provider, Enhance, is experiencing difficulties in processing payments. Their representatives are working closely to see what the matter is and to see that it is resolved quickly. The issues are sporadic, so some may success in using the platform, but as a reminder, alternatives to making payments include paying by mail with a check or choosing to visit the finance department located in this building in the basement. Lastly, the village has several position openings for qualified individuals to join our world-class team. Currently, there's village planner, lateral and part-time police officer, and part-time fire inspector openings. Candidates possessing the necessary skills are encouraged to give these positions a review and consider becoming part of our friendly and professional staff. President Kukler, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Manager Knight. Looking ahead to tonight's consent agenda, I'd like to request that items F and G regarding the intergovernmental agreement for reimbursement of electricity costs be removed from tonight's agenda. These items are in need of additional details before being finalized, which is currently in the process of being explored. If no one objects, I'd ask the village clerk to read the remaining items on the consent agenda, followed by those items appearing under current business.
Matters of the consent agenda will be considered by a single motion and vote because they already have been considered fully by the board at a previous meeting or have been determined to be of a routine nature. Any member of the Board of Trustees may request that an item be moved from the consent agenda to current business for separate consideration. Item A, an ordinance extending the LaGrange Special Service Area number 7 for 20 additional tax years. Item B, a resolution approving a contract with Davis Concrete Construction Company for the 50/50 sidewalk program. Item C, a license for industrial, commercial, institutional, and multifamily refuse collection, DP Construction Company, Inc. Item D, a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement with the Illinois Department of Transportation for the maintenance of state routes. Item E, a resolution awarding a contract with Suburban General Construction of the Wyola Avenue Combined Service Improvements. Item H, an ordinance granting a design review permit for 6 West Burlington Avenue. Item I, a resolution approving closed session minutes, determine the need to keep minutes of certain closed meetings of the village board confidential and authorizing the destruction of verbatim recordings of certain closed meetings of the village board. Item J, June 2025 consolidated voucher. Item K, minutes of the Village Board of LaGrange Trustees meeting April 28th, 2025. Current business. This agenda item includes consideration of matters being presented to the Board of Trustees for action. Item A, a resolution approving task order number 290 with Baxter and Woodman, Inc. for engineering services related to the Burlington Avenue STP resurfacing project. Item B, an ordinance amending Chapter 111 of the LaGrange Code of Ordinances regarding restaurant liquor licensing. Item C, a resolution approving the amendment of an employee leasing agreement with MGT Impact Solutions, LLC, to include finance consultants.
Thank you, Clerk Saladino. Next on tonight's agenda is public comments regarding matters that are on tonight's agenda.
Hi, everyone. Al Foreman, 56 7th Avenue, here in LaGrange. I've got 3 questions and then a comment regarding current business item C, which is the employee leasing agreement to add financial consultants. The first question is, I noticed from the information that the consultants are expected to provide 20 hours per week of support. And of course, our finance director was a full-time position. So I'm curious as to what responsibilities the finance director would have had, which are either going to be deferred or delayed. I mean, I don't need a detailed list, but I mean, have you all looked at that and determined, or said differently, how'd you come up with only 20 hours of support when it's a full-time job that's vacant?
Staff made that determination.
Okay. Okay, so thank you. It leads to the second question, and that is, considering the vacancy and then the workaround solution, do we have any additional expectations that the auditors would need more time or resources to complete their audit?
The auditors have been on location, and we think things are progressing as expected.
Okay, all right. Third question is from the board's point of view. When was the last time that you saw any financial statements or cash summaries or investment reports for the village?
Yeah, I can't answer for the board.
Well, can you tell me if you saw anything for the fiscal year ending April 30th, 25?
I'm not exactly sure what you mean. What we see the general ledger every meeting, and we see different statements. So I have no idea, but I'm not going to answer any more than that.
Okay. But so you know where I'm coming from.
No, I have no idea where you're coming from.
Let me explain. So what you see every meeting and what I see in the minutes are vouchers, which are approvals of transactions. Where has any information been provided that shows the interim financial reports of the village comparing actual results to the budgets from last year? The mission statement of the village includes the financing department stating, quote, Finance department includes providing accurate, timely, and complete information to the village board, staff, and the public. I've attended meetings for pretty much last year. I've never seen any information on what I would consider current financial reports. So, I don't want to argue about it. I think as we move forward and as you bring in consultants, and I'm sure their priority is the audit, but I'm hoping their priority will also include catching up on providing you and us information. Honestly, we're a $40 million a year enterprise, and between cash investments and also held by the pension funds, I think that's closer to $90 million. And if you were running a business of that size, you would not go a period as long as we have without financial information. So I'm really raising my hand in traffic saying, I think we need some improvement in terms of financial transparency. And I would recommend as we move forward that there be an agenda item on meetings, even if it's 1 or 2 minutes, just a quick financial status report. I think the village deserves that. Thanks.
And thank you, Mr. Foreman. With that, can I have a motion and a second on the consent agenda?
I move for approval of consent agenda as presented with the items F and G excluded.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
President Kukler, as previously stated, I'll be recusing myself on any and all agenda items related to the village prosecutor.
Thank you. Seeing no other comments, I would ask for a roll call vote.
Trustee Thompson.
Aye.
Trustee McGee.
Aye.
Trustee Augustine.
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien.
Aye.
Trustee Gale.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Next up is current business. First we have is the resolution adopting engineering service, and I would ask Trustee McGee to present that.
Thank you, President Kukler. The resurfacing of Burlington Avenue from LaGrange Road to Ogden Avenue has been submitted and is included on the West Central Municipal Conference's list of projects scored for consideration under the Surface Transportation Program, known as STP. The STP program is a federal aid highway funding program that provides flexible funding for a wide range of transportation projects. Funding is provided at a ratio of 80% federal funds with a local 20% fund match. One of the program's scoring criteria is project readiness. The surfacing project currently has a score of 0 in this category. In order to improve its scoring, the village engaged its engineer consultant, Baxter and Woodman, to provide a scope of services to accomplish the work that would ultimately serve to improve the project scoring. Baxter and Woodman Incorporation has prepared task order number 290, which accounts for the performance of engineering and environmental studies, followed by the development of design plans, specifications, and bid documents for this project. It can be found attached as Exhibit A to the proposed resolution. Under the proposed tax order, preliminary engineering work is expected to be completed by January of 2028. Funds for this expenditure were included in the approved fiscal year 2025 through 2026 capital fund budget. The staff recommends approval of the proposed resolution approving task order number 9290 with Baxter and Woodman Incorporation for Phase 1 and Phase 2 engineering and environmental services for the Burlington Avenue STP resurfacing project. I move that this recommendation for the approval of the proposed resolution be accepted.
Thank you, Trustee McGee.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Gale. Any discussion? Seeing none, a roll call vote, please.
Trustee O'Brien.
Aye.
Trustee Thompson.
Aye.
Trustee Augustine.
Aye.
Trustee Gale.
Aye.
Trustee McGee.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Next up, and I will introduce it, is an ordinance amending Chapter 111 of the LaGrange Code of Ordinances regarding restaurant liquor licensing requirements. Over the last year, the Liquor Commission has reviewed code requirements for Class A restaurant liquor licenses. During the May 12th, 2025 meeting, the Commission discussed brewpub licensing requirements. Following the commission's discussions in these meetings, the Liquor Commission directed staff to prepare liquor code amendments relaxing the current minimum food sale requirements for restaurants and the maximum beer production limits for brew pubs to 155,000 gallons. Currently, each Class A license is required to demonstrate that 60% of all taxable retail sales are generated from the sale of food and non-alcoholic beverages within the licensed premises. Staff put together an ordinance that would change that, and would be voting on changing that to 50%. The ordinance also would update the definition of brew pub to be consistent with the state beer production limits, which again is 155,000 gallons per year. With that, I would ask for a motion and a second on an ordinance amending Chapter 111 of the LaGrange Code of Ordinances.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Gale. Trustee O'Brien, any discussion regarding this matter? Trustee Augustine.
Thank you, President Kukler. I think we're all pretty aligned on this right now, so I'm hopeful that this passes. It's been many years where this has been in discussion between residents, businesses, and the board, and many thanks to the businesses who have come to any of us to talk about their desire to see some changes. This is a fairly old ratio that was put in place as a good idea to curb the town from allowing bars and saloons in, and it's worked well. But now customers their uses of restaurants have changed, and we need to change along with them. So I'm glad that we're seeing this vote today. It feels like it happened overnight, but really it took a while. But it's good. It's good for LaGrange. We're listening, and we're adapting, and we're welcoming to our businesses. So I know that not everybody wanted this exact ratio. Some wanted it to be different. Some wanted it to be gone altogether. But I think this is the right thing for now, and I'm hoping that we all support it. I know that I will.
Thank you, Trustee Augustine. Seeing no other comments, I would ask for a roll call vote.
Trustee McGee.
Aye.
Trustee Augustine.
Aye.
Trustee Thompson.
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien.
Aye.
Trustee Gale.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Next up is a resolution approving the amendment of an employee leasing agreement with MGT Impact Solutions to include finance consultants, and I'd refer this to Trustee Augustine.
Thank you, President Kukler. Yes. On February 19th, 2025, the village entered into an employee leasing agreement with MGT Impact Solutions for village planner services to be provided through a temporary staffing solution. The agreement met a village operational need for these services when the village planner position became vacant earlier that month. The agreement is structured in a manner that allows for the assigning of additional personnel as needed to meet the village's operational needs. With the recent finance director vacancy, staff reached out to MGT to determine if there were available personnel to help meet financial department needs. In turn, MGT provided the names of 2 individuals highly qualified and capable of supporting the village's needs within the finance department during a proposed initial period of time, approximately 4 months, with the option to extend the arrangement upon agreement by both parties. Agreement terms include support 20 hours per week to be provided over a 4-month term. These provided services will include assisting in various processes, including the annual audit, accounting tasks, regulatory compliance, budget administration, and payroll execution. The agreement is also expected to afford the village the opportunity to elevate the operations within the department and contemplate further improvements for business-to-business processes. For reference, the current employee leasing agreement can be found included as attachment 2. For this, we have agreement costs and have conservatively estimated just over $48,000 and this is of course an unbudgeted for expense. However, overall net savings are projected due to salary and benefit savings associated with the finance director vacancy. Staff is recommending approval of the proposed resolution amending an employee leasing agreement with MGT Impact Solutions, LLC, to include finance consultants. And I would motion to approve this as presented.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Augustine and Trustee Thompson. Any discussion regarding this item? Seeing none, I'd ask for a roll call vote.
Trustee Gale,
Aye.
Trustee McGee,
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien,
Aye.
Trustee Thompson,
Aye.
Trustee Augustine.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Next up is public comments on matters not on tonight's agenda.
Hey everyone, Dan Spain, owner of The Elm. Just had a couple things. So I was just kind of shocked to see that the village was allowing in a couple of places in the downtown central business district the ability to take up public parking spaces for their own private good. And so just wondering, I kind of thought that was kind of over. I know that there's a couple select businesses that are still allowed to do that. I was kind of shocked. So I'm hoping that that is the last year that will be possible.
What are you referring to?
In particular, a couple of restaurants, like Luca's has a space that's, 5 or 6 parking spaces are being utilized. And there's, I just don't see what the need is when parking in the downtown central business district is, kind of difficult. And so those are 5 or 6 spaces that, could be utilized for people to park.
Thank you.
Second comment, I haven't seen anything or heard anything. It's been nice that the village has come to an agreement with District 102 and the Cosset Playground, and wanted to see if there's an agreement for this summer, if the people that are going to be visiting LaGrange can park there.
I'm sure the village manager will continue to communicate with you regarding developments on 102.
Yeah, my point on this particular issue is that it's already summer and I haven't heard anything. So, a simple yes or no would be, from the village manager, or, just so that I can make.
Are you asking if there's been an agreement entered?
So last year, it was allowed to have people in the community park over the summer in the Cosset Playground to alleviate any, issues that the village might have. And so I haven't seen or heard anything. And now that it's summer, I'm just wondering if this is something that we're doing or if it's.
Yeah, what I tried to indicate was I think it's still under discussion between the village and 102. So if your answer is, can you do it tomorrow, I'd have to say no.
That was not what I was saying. I just was wondering if there was an agreement. And then.
It hasn't been finalized.
Okay. And then lastly, I know on the comprehensive parking plan that was done 2.5 years ago, I don't mean to keep on the same topic, but I'm readily available. I'd like there to be a little bit more discussion with the business owners of the community, trying to see if there's something that we can do, i.e. pay to park. I know Hinsdale has this in certain areas. I have trouble, I'll admit, with some of my employees that park in certain areas that aren't. And I'm trying to figure out a solution to that problem. And based off of everything that the Village of LaGrange has coming up, I know there's a lot of expenditures over the next 5 to 10 to 15 years. And so if there's a way that we can come together as a village, as a business community, and figure out a way long-term, I think people in certain areas would be able to pay $1 per hour in certain locations. And I would also hope that the village would take a look at certain lots and what they're charging non-residents or residents to come in and occupy certain parking spaces in certain lots. And those are my comments for tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My name's John Pluto, live over on East Avenue. I'd like to know if there's a timeline on our water reservoir project that we talked about at budget time.
I don't believe the timeline's been finalized now.
Have we done anything? Or is this this is 2 years since I brought it up, okay?
Right.
And it was 13 years ago, in 2013, I should say, that we did the test, and we didn't do any of the outside repairs to that tank. When are we gonna do them? We can spend $50,000 for Baxter and Woodman to do a survey on the street, but our fresh water supply is still sitting there with a tank that needs to be coated on the top and cleaned and coated and maintained, and we're not doing that. Why? Can you give me an answer on that?
No.
Can somebody make a call? You want me to call D&N Tank or Baxter and Woodman and have them come out and do the robotic test? Come on. This isn't rocket science. You don't have the money to do it is what you're telling me. Because I didn't see it in the budget when I looked at it. So are we going to kick this can down the street for a couple more years until we have to, instead of maintain it, we replace it? And you know what it's going to cost to replace that tank? And what's the most important two things in this town? The air we breathe and the water we drink. So I think you guys should start thinking about what your priorities are in this town.
Thank you. Seeing no other public comments, at this time, I would open up for any trustee comments. Trustee Augustine.
Thank you, President Kugler. I'd just like to say that on the topic of parking, you know, it's a pretty big concern for a lot of people. It's certainly on my mind. And Dan, we've been talking about this for years before the parking study and beyond. So I think there is some movement on the village's end, and in regards to the school, I don't know where that stands exactly. I know that it is moving forward, and I'm looking forward to that answer as well, and anything beyond that. So hopefully that is going to happen for us. And also just a shout out to longtime library commissioner Becky Spratford. She just retired after 24 years on the job. She's been through multiple iterations of that wonderful library that many of our kids have used. She's made it a great place, and I want to give her just kind of a shout out and thank you for her service.
Thank you, Trustee Augustine. Seeing no other trustee comments, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, trustees. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the meeting is officially adjourned at 8:16. Thank you, everybody.